Hello, Evelyn McKnight, One Arm University. We're going to talk about being in the water today. I love being in the water. I love the feeling of weightlessness. I love being able to move around easily, and also it gives me some help with the phantom pain. So when I lost an arm, I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to do some of those things that I love, like swimming, snorkeling, canoeing. But we found some modifications, some workarounds so that I'm still able to enjoy time in the water. The first thing that you need to get in the water is a swimsuit. I've tried many different kinds, but the one arm, one shoulder kind works the best for me. Because I'm missing so much of my shoulder on the right side, the traditional kinds of swimsuits with two straps just don't work well, even the kind with racerbacks. So this kind of one shoulder swimsuit works well. I think it would be handy even for people who have two arms, but they have maybe very limited mobility, limited motion in one arm, because you don't have to struggle with getting that limited motion limb into another sleeve, another arm. So let's move on and talk about other kinds of swimwear. Another kind of swimsuit that I like to wear is like an adult onesie. It has some legs built into it as well as sleeves. So it provides good protection, sun coverage, and a little bit of warmth. It stays on well because of the zipper. So even though I'm missing some of my shoulder, it does stay on very well. There we go. There are even other adult onesies for swimwear, a wetsuit, I think it's called, that has full sleeves and full legs, and we really would like to wear that when we're snorkeling in cool waters. Gives you a little bit more warmth, makes you more comfortable, and allows you to stay in the water for longer periods of time. I wear my own personal flotation device when I do water activities like canoeing, kayaking, snorkeling, even when I'm just a passenger. And I take my own flotation device to Hawaii when we snorkel. And that is because we've purchased the kind that has straps between the legs. So as you can see, there's straps here, and that really keeps the flotation device in place. And here it is, all snapped. You might need help with the snaps. I do often, but when you're in the water, you need a buddy anyway. There's somebody around that you should partner up with. That's just basic water safety 101. So these have snaps down the front. It's got one at the waist, and then another strap that keeps these leg straps in place. Without these leg straps, the vest was just moving all over the place, you know, halfway around. So it was more cumbersome than helpful. It's easy to adjust. This one I can pull on these straps, and I do keep it pretty tight when I'm in the water. When you are wearing this kind of personal flotation device, and my brand is called NRS. You really will want to wear an adult onesie because otherwise these leg straps just ride up and are quite uncomfortable.
Sometimes you may find yourself in a situation where you don't have a personal flotation device with you, but you still want to swim. So I enlisted the help of my husband, Tom. I have my hand on his shoulder. I'm flutter kicking. He is too, as well as doing a swim stroke. And in this way, we were able to get across this little pool in Hawaii in a rainforest. A wonderful time.
I want to introduce you to my friend, Chuck. Chuck was the one who introduced us to this tethering system, and I've found that it really gives me confidence and security and a feeling of safety to be physically connected to a partner when we snorkel. And so I'll have Chuck explain to you this tethering system, this rope. Chuck is an avid snorkeler and has snorkeled all over the world, so he has really perfected this idea.
And I want it for confidence too, because if you're snorkeling, you're concentrating on what you're looking at with your mask and your snorkel, and you're not looking around. And if your friend, your partner is behind you or out of your line of sight, and you're trying to figure out where they are, turning around in a situation where you want to concentrate on the fish and the corals, it's just a diversion. So if you stay tethered a little bit, not a lot, not tight, then at any given time you know where they are. You can simply follow the rope, or you can give it a tug and say, take a look, don't miss the fish, don't miss the coral, something like that. So you just get a little bit of rope, not a lot. You don't want to be real tight to the other person. You want to be a little further away. And then you simply...
What would you say, 6-8 feet?
Something like that. If it's too long, then it might get snagged in the reef or something like that. This tends to float, so it doesn't tend to drop. So, but a little bit of distance that's comfortable. And then simply do a very simple loop.
Which you've doubled over the rope.
You just tie a loop, very simple, and then you bring the piece through on the other side, and then you've got a very simple little system. It's not tight. This loop is open, so you can easily take this off if you want to, and it's easy. So you take the one arm and the other arm, and you each have a loop. Now the second loop is a little trickier to do, because I'll show you why. So you take a little more rope this time, and you do a bigger loop this time because you need to bring this through it. Okay? So now you have a second loop, but this is too big. So you simply tighten this up quite a bit. So it's about like that, and then you can cut off the extra. So now you have two loops, and you're attached to your partner, and then you just go like that and like that. And then if you want to tug and say, don't miss this, or you know where they are without looking, you don't have to look around and wonder. If you're in a current, it's especially good, but it gives me confidence, and it's easier to sort of like, I know my partner's here, I know where they are, I can get their attention, and then you can really concentrate on enjoying the reef. So this is a fabulous little simple system. You're not locked to each other, but you're connected.
I've done water aerobics in water about chest high for years and years and years. And there are some things that are really hard or impossible to do if you only have one arm. I've found a solution that helps, doesn't solve every problem completely, but some of those basic water aerobic moves can be helped with the use of a pool noodle. And I asked my friend to bend it and then secure it So it's kind of like a shepherd's hook or a question mark that's tied down. And this really gives me the help, the flotation that I need when I need it for specific water aerobics. Next, I'll show you how I use it in the pool. This is my friend Patrick Park. We met at a swimming pool in Phoenix, and instantly Patrick took an interest in me, and since he is an Olympic qualifier, hopeful, he has a lot of wisdom to share about technique, swim strokes, that sort of thing. So he's given me a couple lessons in the past, and I am very grateful that today we're able to host him here in Nebraska as he swims in the Olympic swim trials on Monday. So I'm taking advantage of this wonderful opportunity, and he's going to give me a couple of swim lessons right now that you get to enjoy as well.
Hey guys, my name is Patrick Park. I met Tom and Evelyn in Phoenix at the Village Club. I gotta say, the stars had to align for us to meet, and it's been a long time coming. Here in town for the Olympic trials here in 2021. Hoping to compete in the 50 freestyle, make wave 2. But here we are, we're with Evelyn. I'm going to show her a little bit of technique. Given that she has one arm, it's critical and very important to use the body position. You got to be as flat on the surface, you got to work on the rotation. So here we go. A little bit more. Okay, so at one point, you want your wrist, elbow, shoulder, and hip all in line. Good. Good. Let's try again. That was it right there. The last 4 strokes. That was it. So what you did differently there versus the first half was that it was nice and easy. It's almost like as you got to your peak extension, I would say right when your arm is lengthened out and your elbow is locked, I would say that's my peak extension. Once you got there, it's almost like the wrist, elbow, shoulder, and hip are all in line. So that's what we want, because what that establishes is that perfect body line and gives you a little bit more room for that shoulder to get out of the water so that you have that time to breathe, right? Now from there, let's break it apart. From there, as you're breathing, as you bring the shoulder down, that's when you start pulling, right? So as we're breathing, peak extension, shoulders out, and as the shoulder's coming down, we're pulling at the same time.
And one thing I had to learn was that I only breathe on this off side, on my missing shoulder side. I can't breathe
Both
on
ways.
the sound side. It's always only on this side. That took me a while to figure out.
Yeah, I would say the general rule of thumb is if you have your left arm, you always want to breathe on the right side, right? So think opposites. Left arm swimming, right side breath, right? Right arm breathing, or right arm pull, left side breathing. That's perfect. Good job, Evelyn. I really like the rotation there. One thing to point out, right, is I'm okay if with the left arm, if you swing outside, The reason for that is that you can establish a little bit more surface area. If you establish that surface area, you're gonna be able to float a little bit easier, right? The one thing I want us to avoid, right? Swimming with one arm, you cannot cross over. You have this plane, right? Making sure we don't cross over to that other side. Why? The reason for that is, as soon as we do this, it's almost like we're gonna be swimming like a snake, right? We wanna maintain that line. The perfect position would be try to line up that wrist, elbow, shoulder, and hip like we talked about. I'm okay with you swinging to the outside. It gives you more balance, but try not to and avoid crossing in. Very good, Evelyn.
One last time.
Oh, that's good. Very good. I would say lastly is the benefit of the kicks, right? You see Evelyn here wearing fins. Fins is a fantastic tool, right? That is great to use. I think one thing that Evelyn and I can work on is making sure that we keep up her consistency with those kicks. There's at times that we almost did scissor kicks, right? Going back and forth very, very big. If we could just change that to smaller and faster kicks, that way she can just swim and race just right on the surface of the water. Because you know when you're on the surface of the water, that is the most efficient way possible to swim. That's great, Evelyn.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
It took me a little while to figure out how to exit the pool from deep water, how to use the ladder. I fumbled around and felt very unsteady. But what you have to do is use your sound arm, reach across, and use the opposite rail to help yourself pull up. It balances your weight a little bit. I hope these tips have been helpful to you. Please post any comments, any suggestions, how you are in the water. And I'll see you in the pool next time. Bye-bye.